If you know me, you'll know there are two things I love: overanalyzing media and overanalyzing music. Although, now that I think about it, you probably don't know me, unless you're a friend or a family member I sent this to. So how about I introduce myself a little? Hi, I'm Cheemer, and there are two things I love: overanalyzing media and overanalyzing music. As you can infer, overanalyzing music from the media I enjoy is my absolute favorite, and I could easily make an entire video essay on many of my favorite soundtracks. I'm hoping I'll get to make many more videos like this, but for now let's kick it off with Tomodachi Life. Tomodachi Life is a sim game similar to Animal Crossing or The Sims. You make Miis, put them all into an apartment complex on an island, and sit back and watch the friendships, relationships, and marriages form and fall. This game has been one of my absolute favorites since middle school, and I still play it to this day. The absurdist humor heavily present in this game has shaped my own humor to an almost embarrassing amount. The soundtrack itself is phenomenal, and like almost all Nintendo music, filled with personality. I think it's the perfect soundtrack to start off my hopefully many video essays. A quick disclaimer: I'm a freshman in college, majoring in digital entertainment and minoring in music. I'm not an expert in music theory yet, nor am I an expert in analyzing works of fiction. However, I am somewhat competent in both of these fields, so please listen to what I have to say. Now, when I say the music of Tomodachi Life, what I mean is the music that I grew up listening to in the American version of the game. This means that Japanese and Korean exclusive songs won't be included since they're part of the game that I never experienced and don't have as much expertise on. Now then, let's get analytical. In the beginning, you're met with a screen asking you to set the date and time. Accompanying this is a track that is just slightly mysterious but isn't scary. You don't quite know what you're getting into, and the game recognizes this, making sure that your first impressions aren't too flashy, like many of the bigger Nintendo titles. After you name your island, the game sends you to a Mii Maker, something that you're probably already familiar with, since you own a 3DS. The song sounds very Mii Maker-y, and it helps you feel right at home with this new game that you got. And I know I said I wouldn't talk about the Japanese game, but I do want to mention that this is a remix of the Mii Maker from the Japanese exclusive Tomodachi collection, reminding Japanese players that this game is the same as that one, but with new life. Once you've made your Mii, the game immediately takes you to Mii Apartments, something I forgot happened before I reset my island for this video. Yeah, I reset my island just so that I could give a more accurate presentation. You better be grateful. Now, the music of Mii Apartments is something that I'm saving for a whole different portion of the video, so I won't go too into detail yet. However, I will say that the song will quickly become a very familiar tune, as the apartment building is a place you will visit very frequently. After you've figured out about your Mii's hunger, you're sent to the food mart to gather up groceries. This music is also something you'll hear very frequently, but unfortunately, I don't have much to say about it. Finally, after feeding your Mii, making a new Mii, watching them become friends, and seeing how their personalities compare, you're set loose to explore the wonderful world of Tomodachi Life all on your own. The map music finally fades in, which is the first music you'll hear when you get on the game. The sense of mystery is replaced with curiosity at what the game has in store for you, and the song has a very strong welcome home vibe to it. No matter the problem, nothing is too bad you can't handle it. The game itself is a nice, refreshing breeze. Wait, I need to cover another part of the soundtrack first. Remember how I said that I was saving the music of Mii Apartments for a whole different portion of the video? Yeah, this is where this portion is going to be. To clarify what exactly that means, I mean the songs that all have the same melody when you visit Mii Apartments. That means that the songs that play when your Mii is in love or sad isn't going to be covered in this portion. We start off with the aptly named Mii Apartments. It's the song that all of the other ones are based off of, so there's not much to talk about quite yet. I will say, however, that the background percussion is symbolic of background noise, whether that be a physical activity or just something on the Mii's mind. Right now, the percussion is still there, since the Mii doesn't even know you're there, and therefore is continuing doing whatever they're doing. When you step inside the apartment of a Mii who doesn't have a problem, the main melody continues to sound the same, but the percussion in the background is gone, meaning that whatever they're doing has been set aside to give full attention to you. Of course, when you step into an apartment, there's almost always a problem you have to solve. If it's just a regular problem, then the melody will go away, and extra percussion instruments will be added, showing that the Mii's thoughts are on whatever their problem is, and none of their attention is truly on you. If your Mii is hungry, the instruments will be replaced with ones that make it sound like your Mii's stomach is growling to the melody. The percussion is back because it's nearly impossible to give someone your full attention when you're hungry. If your Mii is sick, then the instruments will be replaced with ones that give you an idea of how crummy your Mii feels at the moment. The percussion is sort of there, although it's been changed to signify how terrible your Mii feels right now. Now, sometimes the music will be different, even if your Mii doesn't have a problem. If your Mii is super happy, then the melody will be slightly different, showing that their mood is different than usual, in a good way. The percussion is there because they can't stop thinking about whatever is making them happy. And if your Mii is asleep, the instruments will be replaced with ones that sound like bedtime instruments, for lack of a better term. The percussion is gone because the Mii is asleep and therefore not thinking, unless you count dreams. Okay, I've got the Mii... Oh no, I messed up. Okay, I've got the music of Mii Apartments out of the way. Where was I again? Oh, right. I was going to talk about how the game itself is a nice, refreshing breeze. Almost every song in Tomodachi Life serves to immerse you in this game where there are hardly any problems. As soon as you enter the game, the first song you hear is the map theme. No matter whether you play at daytime or nighttime, the music is calming and non-threatening. Although the nighttime music is much calmer, both to match the mood and probably lull any children staying up past their bedtime to sleep. I could go through and talk about each individual song in the game, but not only would that be long and unnecessary, it would be redundant. I don't know how to expertly talk about every single song, but there are a few I can talk about. When your Mii is in love, it plays a song appropriately titled In Love. The instruments used are similar to chimes, which brings a mystical feel to the music, just like the mystical feel when you're in love. The melody itself is lighthearted but also slightly anxious, just how you feel asking someone out for the first time. Also, may I just say that after asking a boy out for the first time this year, this music is exactly how it feels. When a Mii wants to propose, there are just two chords moving in between each other. They're both major chords, but the second one has a little more tension. However, in the background, a heart beats, most likely your Mii's heart. It's less complex than the song when they're first in love, symbolizing that there's less questions going through the Mii's head, but the beating heart shows that it's even more nerve-wracking. Continuing the trend of talking about your Mii's emotions, checking in on a Mii after a fight will play a song named, Fight. You can immediately tell that the Mii is mad through the melody, but it's still quite a funny tune, for lack of a better term. It sounds like a song that would play in a cartoon, when a character is pushed past their limit and starts to flip tables. The problem with someone else is there, but the song tells you that it's okay, that you can still fix it. Even when the fight continues, it still sounds very cartoonish, showing that even though the situation is a little worse, it's still not unfixable. When a Mii couple's child grows up and is leaving the nest, a remix of the Baby Born song plays, but with more instruments. I've never had a child before, and much less a child who's gone up to college. But from my mom's reactions to me leaving for college, I can say that there's a lot of nostalgia and reminiscence of early years. I think that's why they chose a remix of Baby Born, and why it's a lot more orchestral than the original, since the child you raise has become a more complete version of themselves. It's bittersweet, but the song wants you to know that it'll all be okay. And, of course, when you're ready to stop playing and save the game, a song plays that's much calmer than most songs in the game. Your session of chaos and drama is over, and now it's time to take a break. From start to end, Tomodachi Life welcomes you in with a calm atmosphere and non-stressful music and friendly vibes, telling you that everything is going to be okay, that this game is nothing but a nice, refreshing breeze. Well, most of the time. There are a few songs in Tomodachi Life that break the typical home away from home feel, but they only play when you should know that whatever is going on is serious. After all, even the best homes have their bad times. If your Mii is rejected after confessing their love, then some sad chimes play in the background. It's a much more somber piece of music than the rest of the game's soundtrack because rejection hurts, even if you understand you're not entitled to somebody's love. When your Mii goes through a breakup, the melody that the chimes play is even sadder than before. Fitting, of course, since you would typically be sadder after being in love with somebody than if you were just crushing on them. Then, there's the final sad song, Broken, which plays after your Mii divorces. Now, I could attempt to do this trilogy of songs justice, or I could refer to Louisiana Mapping's YouTube comment, which sums all of these up better than I ever could. First, it was just rejection. It had a melody and was simply just a little bit of sadness. Eventually, they'd patch themselves up and move on. Then there was Depressed. The melody started to lose itself, but there was still a melody of hope. Just like rejection, the person would get themselves back up, but it'd take more effort. Then there's this. All there is just an echoed note every few seconds that descends in tone, but resurfaces only to go back down again. It basically shows that once you go too far in sadness, you're nearly hopeless. This song is just so heartbreaking once one realizes what the descending notes mean. The downward spiral of a horrible relationship that all goes down and crashes. On a different side of the emotional spectrum, if your me gets into a very serious fight with another me, the song used will be much less playful than the normal fight theme. The weird instruments are replaced with an electric guitar that has a very simple melody, signifying the me's thoughts being very simple but still filled with rage. It signals to the reader? It signals to the player that this fight can't be resolved through normal means. Even in the best of times, trouble can still be brewing right around the corner. However, none of these problems are unsolvable. Whether you just need to feed your me their favorite food or take them on a trip to Hawaii, taking care of yourself is the first and most important step to feeling better. Speaking of, if your throat is dry right now, go get some water. Hydration does wonders on your physical and mental well-being, and this is coming from somebody who's chronically dehydrated. Thanks to everyone who watched my video all the way through. This is my first video essay ever, so sorry if some things are a little less high quality than those who do this for a living. I plan on making more video essays in the future, so if you're interested in that, subscribe to watch my latest content. I can't promise that my upload schedule will be consistent, but I can promise that it'll be as high quality as I can make it. Again, thanks to everyone who watched this video, and I'll see you all later.